Oh, it's rolling, man. Message for the guy who in one of the many fucking idiots and or not so idiots persons that constantly insist on uh, playing with me essentially. But you don't know how this game works. So yeah, the eternal recurrence is kind of like, I mean, it's not as impactful as reincarnation, obviously, because it doesn't really matter if the same action. I mean, it matters, but it's not. It occurs indefinitely. It doesn't. It just focuses it more. It makes it a little bit more important, or a lot more important, if you're normally very distracted. If you're normally very focused, it does not matter in the slightest. If you're aware of the, or let's say, if you believe in the idea that every moment is eternal, then as many do, then what's added? Nothing. But reincarnation adds tremendous weight. Tremendous. The amount of stuff that you've been through, that's even horrifying. Which is horrifying. Like all these billions of life forms that you've then maybe been, or millions or thousands or hundreds. Like holy fucking that is harsh. That is actually very harsh. Especially if you have dreams remembering that shit. That's just crazy. All these deaths that you've gone through, that is really tough. Seriously. That's why people don't believe in it, because it's, well, mother of God. Uh, so that's for strong people, reincarnation. And I'm just contemplating now what my next action is in other things. So the eternal recurrence, I was going to say something else. In terms of physics, it's just not true. Because we don't have a billiard ball universe. Plus, there's no discrete limit to particles, and they don't bounce around randomly. Mostly, that's most of the thing. Particles don't get like separate of their systems. Like Nietzsche apparently, obviously, never heard of a neutron star or something like that. It just doesn't. Um, it's not a constant rescattering of things. It's more like, oh, things are concentrated and then they go into orbit around each other, and then that's death essentially, and eternal. If there is indeed an eternal system, where they get in, get around in orbit around a black hole, or they get even sucked into a black hole. In which case, certainly there's no redistribution. So, unless maybe the black hole spontaneously combusts in a new Big Bang, but that's completely hypothetical and not based on any facts. So it's just not the case. It's just completely not the case. Just absolutely not the case. You can be certain that it's not the case. Um, but the beauty is that you were so. I don't even know how to call you anymore. You changed your name so many times. Uh, it's just like I have no idea what I'm addressing anymore. But just like the guy who says the person who says this about the heat death and the Big Bang as a beginning that never really began and an ending that never really ends. This is a sane idea. This is an idea which is actually quite scientific, because obviously time and space are interrelated. So indeed, if there's less interaction, then time kind of freezes, and there's not really actually an end. And the same goes in the opposite way for the origin of the Big Bang. It doesn't really ever, time does not arrive there if you go back. So that's, but if you take this system, then it's a closed system. Then there's There's huge, lots of possibilities in that beginning. That I mean, near the beginning, and there's very little possibilities near the ending. Um, and in between, there's a bunch of stuff, but it's not infinite because there is this encroaching in the beginning and the end. So your own fucking model, your own model, which is not your own model, is just sort of a logical consequence um, of thinking about time space. But this model also precludes the eternal recurrence of the same. So you have just refuted it, which is the opposite of affirming it. I don't think that makes you into some kind of inferior being. Apparently you do. So what is it? Is it eternal recurrence, or is it the heat death and the Big Bang that never really happen or can never really be attained? You see? In fact, I think this is a whole different thing because in fact, time space is as I saw in my first psychedelic trip. It's a facet. This four-dimensional thing, the time space is a facet of a larger dimensional thing. That's what you think that I went through hell then in terms of, oh no, I don't like myself. No, I just saw too much. I saw, and I told you that then. So I don't know why you forgot this and made it into a filthy lie in another post, in one of these posts that I call you Wauweliot. Because you fucking lied about very sacred stuff. That's just just evil, I think, or it sucks, man. But so yeah, I think time space in itself you can see in a sort of a ring thing. Indeed, kind of like what you say, never the ending never comes, and the beginning never is there. It's just the whole thing is kind of a limited object, which in a sense is eternal, but it's still a part of something, it's still a facet of something larger. Anyway, this reflects in quantum physics, which I'm beginning to understand through chaos math, valeontological chaos math. So that's it. Thank you.